With the coming of the new service chief, questions are already being asked. What direction should they change, or rather take, to change the narrative? And what needs to be done by this very administration to indeed cool the nerves of many Nigerians that feel it is not an issue of change of service chief, but rather a fundamental issue that needs to be addressed as it concerns the growing insecurity in the country. Well, as much as you ponder that in mind, I want to quickly welcome you to another lovely time on television. It's Atlantic TV and it's Viewpoint. As always, my name is Michael Gombardia.
Well, marry more than one wife. This is coming from Senator Ned Nwoko amid marriage crisis. Interesting. So you do not want to miss trending today. Well, let me specially welcome you to Viewpoints on Atlantic TV. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know how we do it right here on Viewpoints. I will start with the dailies. We'll go straight into the dialogue, and of course the news come around and the trending, of which you do not want to miss. And of course, you know, you can engage with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, at Atlantic Media and TV. Well, we need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the dailies will be next.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, the papers is where we're going next, right here on Paper Review, is Viewpoint. And for review today, we have 6 papers. We have the Nigerian Tribune, the Punch, the Vanguard, the Nation, the Guardian, and This Day. But anyway, today I'll take a different turn, and I'd like to start with the Nigerian Tribune to see what it has as a major one, especially on its front page. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, confusion rages in PDP. Confusion rages in PDP ahead of convention. And right as to that, a party postpones planned screening of candidates indefinitely. Lamido threatens court action over inability to purchase forms, and we have not seen the forms. Anyanwu Bature say Asturaki submit his. And anyway, I'll just tell you to read more of that story on page 15 of 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. And let's see if we take some other major ones. Yes, and the major one also right there. 92-year-old Biya, re-elected president of Cameroon, has 4 dead in opposition protests. It's a major one on page 4. Resident doctors issue 19 days or 19 demands to avert indefinite strike. It says federal government owing health workers about 38 billion naira allowances. And I'll tell you to read up that story on page 4. Let's see if we take some other major stories, especially on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Ekiti 2026, Oyebanji emerges APC governorship candidate. Is a screamer, promises not to disappoint citizens. Ekiti consensus template should be adopted nationwide, says Ododo. And you do know he was head of the screening committee of that very move. But anyway, I'll just tell you to get more of that story on page 16. Also on page 17, 2025 UTME JAM releases result of 85 underage candidates. Wow. And you can read more of that story up on the Nigerian Tribune. Let's see if we take some other major stories also on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu Service Chief meet, review security strategies. You can get that on page 3. But remember, I'll be taking a critical look later on our dialogue as well. We'll look at what many Nigerians already, the roadmap that many Nigerians already making up for the new service chiefs. Nnamdi Kanu dumps a plan to enter defense, insists he has no case to answer. Judge gives him 4 days to file a written address. And you can address all of that story up on page 4. We have more of a double header as a picture of the day, but I'd rather take the one at the top. And it's that of Oyebanji emerging as APC governorship candidate. And that happened yesterday at Ado Ekiti. And we're talking about the APC governorship primaries. Well, that's much you can take from the Nigerian Tribune.
Let's see stories making it to the front page of this day newspaper. Yeah, the lead story says, Amupita Courts can't continue to decide election winners. It must be at polling units. I will have some riders to that. Vows to reduce pre-election litigations. Seeks support at 56 NALT conference. Says with sound legal framework. Necessary reforms. Losers won't hesitate to congratulate winners. This new INEC chairman, he's giving us high hopes, and we hope it continues like this even till the 2027 elections. Well, you can read more of that on page 23 of this day newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading stories still at the front page of this day. Amid opposition protest, Cameroon's Paul Biya re-elected at 92. Interesting story. We saw all that played out in Cameroon yesterday, and our prayers are with them in Cameroon. Well, you can read more of that on page 23 of this day newspaper. Tinubu leads others in tributes for late statesman Christopher Kolade, and we have some riders. He lived a life of integrity, service, and humility, says President Obasanjo Sanwo-Olu Obi Gbamjabiala, Gbajabimila, Okonjo Iweala. Others honor statesman at service of songs. Well, you can read more of that on page 23 of this day newspaper. Let's take some more leading stories still on the front page of this day newspaper. PDP yet to learn its lessons as party denies Lamido nomination form for chair. You can read more of that on page 23 of this day newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, I think I prefer the picture at the bottom mass. The transition at Afrexim Bank. Yeah, that's the new president of Afrexim Bank, Dr. George Elombi, and the immediate past president, Dr. Benedict Orama, during the handing and taking over in Abuja recently. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on this day. Let's see what the nation has for us. The lead story: Lamido attacks PDP governors over exclusion from chair race. Ex-Jigawa governor threatens legal actions. Turaki fit to lead party. Well, we can read more of that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's take some more leading stories still at the front page. Tinubu meets with service chiefs. Yeah, you can read that on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see some more stories still on the front page. Lotus Bank seeks to recover 1 billion naira withdrawn during glitch. Well, you can read more of that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. How DSS aborted Utomi's shadow cabinet through legal process. That story is on page 17 of the Nation newspaper. A battle for 9 mobile ownership shifts to Court of Appeal. Interesting story on page 15 of the Nation newspaper. JAMB clears 85 underage candidates for admission. Well, you can read more of that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we have some more leading stories still at the front page of the Nation. 885 delegates ratify Oyebanji's nomination. A carnival-like atmosphere at Ekiti APC State Congress. Well, congratulations to Oyebanji. Well, you can read more of that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Judge to IPOB leader Kanu: this is not economics, this is a criminal prosecution. That story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, let's see the top picture. I prefer the top picture. The picture shows President Bola Ahmed Tinubu standing with Nigeria's service chiefs at the presidential villa yesterday. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Nation newspaper. Well,
the Punch newspaper is where we're going next, right here as we try to review through the papers today. And on the Punch this morning, PDP consensus deal scatters as Lamido reject Turaki. We're still talking about the chairmanship position, or riders to that said. Session ahead of convention, screening postponed indefinitely. Lamido heads to court. Turaki advances a bid. And I'll tell you to read more of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's see if we take some other leading ones. Natasha broke panel code in attacks on Akpabio. This according to the Attorney General of the Federation, Bello, and I'll tell you to read that story up on page 9. Tinubu Obasanjo lead dignitaries to honor late Christopher Kolade as he's been buried on page 8. 92-year-old Paul Biya, 8-term wins sparks protests in Cameroon. And no surprise, we've already had 4 deaths attributed to that very protest of the opposition right there in Cameroon. And he's now the oldest serving head of state in the world. And you do understand he started way back in 1982. And up to now, he's still leading. 8-term is what he has just gotten. But I'll tell you to get more of that story on page 5. Let's see if we take some other major stories. Doctor mobilized for Friday strike amid 38 billion naira unpaid allowances is a major screamer on page 7. But let's see if we take some other major stories just beneath the picture of the day. Okay. Attention, terrorism, judge begs Kano in God's name to consult lawyers. And you can understand what all of that means if you go grab a copy of the Punch and read up all that story on page 7. Collapsed Lagos building, occupants ignore distress call. And this according to residents, and you can read more of that story on page 6. Quite sad it is. Hardship, Pabio Yawada challenges Nigerians to monitor governors and will ask them, how do we do so? But anyway, I'll just tell you to read up that story on page 8. The picture of the day is insecurity. Tinubu presses new service chief for immediate action. And I'll just tell you to get more of that story. Undermines the picture of the day on page 2 of the Punch. And remember, we'll be looking more about this later on Dialogue, on Viewpoint, on Atlantic TV. That's the much you can take from the Punch.
Yeah, let's see what the Guardian has for us. The lead story says, Nigerian international travelers to pay extra $11.5 charge per ticket from December 1st. Interesting story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have the top mass. ADC accuses Tinubu's government of manipulating food prices for political gains. Well, this is coming from ADC. You can read more of that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. A National Association of Resident Doctors insists on November 1 strike. Claims health workers owed 38 billion naira in 2 years. In as much as we want all of this to just resolve amicably, we do not want more strikes in the nation. Well, you can read more of that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Oyebanji emerges APC's candidate for Ekiti Guba polls. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Yeah, we have some more leading stories still on the front page of the Guardian. Bandits impose 15 million naira levy on Tambuwa's constituents, threaten fresh attacks. That story is on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. New Afrexim Bank boss tax African leaders on open borders and trade. That story is on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper. PDP in fresh crisis over championship consensus still ahead of convention. You can read more of that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Kanu refuses to enter defense, claims no charge against him. Interesting story on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Commissioner not wearing Tinubu's signature cap will be suspended. And this is coming from the Edo APC chair. Wow. And we heard when the Edo State governor said this too some few weeks back. Well, you can read more of that on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, that's illustrating the headline story. Nigerian international travelers to pay extra $11.5 charge per ticket from 1st of December. And if you look at the notes at the bottom, it says from December 1st, 2025, Nigerians inbound and outbound passengers will pay an additional $11.5 on security levy. Wow, interesting story. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper.
Well, the Vanguard will definitely be our last paper for us to quickly look at. And on the Vanguard this morning, the leading story reads, chaos in PDP convention at risk. And there are major riders to that. Lamido vows to sue over denial of access to chairmanship form by party. Turaki submits chairmanship nomination form. Over 20 PDP lawmakers threaten defection over alleged plot to clear APC nominees for National Women Leader. And I'll just tell you that leading story you can get on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see if we take some other major stories also on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. And yes, let's go ahead. Electricity, federal government debt hits 6 trillion naira as Gencos push for urgent payment. And I'll just tell you to read more of that story up on page 19. Alleged terrorism, why I won't defend federal government charge against me. I'm not saying that, but Kanu seems to be saying that also on the front page of the Vanguard. Era of endless court battles over, says INEC chair, and I would just want to say hallelujah to that. First Bank demonstrates effective assets, liability management, and Eurobond redemption. But anyway, that's more like an editorial right there. Why Okpebolo extend Edo cabinet? This according to Afedboa, and you can get that story on page 14. A hunger now political tool under Tinubu. Well, I didn't say so, but ADC seems to be thinking towards that line, and you can read more of that story up on page 9. John Clare's 85 underage candidate for exceptional admission. It's another screamer on the front page of the Vanguard. Church raises alarm over headers invasion of Taraba communities. Lukarawa leaves over 10 Fulani in Kebbi's, or rather, accused over 10 Fulanis in Kebbi reprisal attacks. And well, that's a very disturbing story. It's also making rounds on the Vanguard. 2026 Falcon race, Nigeria vs Benin. Falcons will take nothing for granted today, and we'll be cheering them on for that very lovely victory. And let's see if we see have other major stories also on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. Okay, we seem not to, but rather the picture of the day is that of Tinubu meet new service chiefs. And you can see how hefty they all are. And I just wish their physical posture would definitely translate into us getting more secured in the coming months and years ahead. Well, anyway, that's the much we can take from the Vanguard, and funny enough, from the major dailies this morning. As I will review the papers, I will always implore you that if you find any truly fancy and you really want to read up, why not do yourself more good in going to get it, and also read up to get more abreast with some of the major ones. But anyway, we still have a whole lot of major screamers on the front page, and one that seems to be more of a concurrent one, especially on the front pages of almost all the dailies, is the issue of the PDP convention that seems to be already shaky. And we could really understand it's all bothered on the issue of the chairmanship position. And the former Governor Lamido seems to be angry over the choice of Turaki, and he feels he has been sidelined. But the question remains, will PDP get it right finally, or will all of these squabbles still extend up to the 2027 general election and indeed make them look as if they are shooting themselves in the foot? Only time will tell. But the major teller also on the front page of most of the dailies this morning is the issue of Mr. President meeting the service chiefs. Well, anyway, he has met them, and we're happy about that, and he has charged them. But we'll be waiting for confirmation from the red chambers, which most especially might really play out this week, and they will now kickstart the journey into trying to see how they can secure Nigerians. But one I will rather want to bring to the notice of Mercy as we look at the front pages of the daily is that one on the front page of the Guardian, and which she also read out loud. And we're talking about Nigerians international travelers to pay extra $11.5 charge for security. Well, forgive me for laughing. It's not like me and Messi will be planning to travel out anytime soon.
I am not leaving.
But $11.5 charge for security.
For security, it's alarming. I don't know. Why are they looking for opportunities to just get money? What is $11.5? So many persons try to sell properties and all of that just to leave this country, and then you're adding extra burden to these persons. Well, in as much as I am not really affected, but I feel for those affected, because I do not see myself living with her. Who will I leave Mr. Michael for?
Well, anyway, I'm happy she's right here. I will not go anywhere anytime soon. But another major screamer that seems to also be on the front pages of the Daily is the issue of the new INEC chairman. I'm talking about no other person but Professor Mopiton, who is saying no more court cases will decide who leads Nigerians, but rather the polls. And indeed, a major talking point on almost all the dailies today. He has given us a promise: no, don't go to court, let's remain here, do the elections, the winner takes the day.
he has been giving us high hopes since he got appointed and all of that. But I really hope it continues and it's not the usual things that come with when you're new to a position. We really want to see the 2027 elections happening, and then all of these things he's saying really coming to pass, not just saying it for words. We want to see actions. We want to see that the election is free and fair. We want to see that winners congratulate everybody. We are all winners, but we want to see the winners congratulating those that were unable to make it to the top. So we want to see all of these things. We do not want to see chaos. We don't want to see things that happened during the last presidential elections and all of that. We do not want to see it. I hope this change is real and we get to experience it.
Well, anyway, that experience is what we all will be praying for as we look at what will definitely be, especially as it concerns our elections. You do know off-season elections like the Anambra election will happen soon. Everybody is looking at his litmus test to see how the new current INEC chairman would perform. But talking about performance, well, we need to go on a break now, and you do know the dialogue will take center stage as we try to really make your morning truly enjoyable and make you always remember that on Atlantic TV, well, definitely your view is always what we love to get. Let's go on a break.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Alright, my name is Des Soka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow, I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafe Bright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before, not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack, because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines, not be to come. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Vocotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap-up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. I'm from an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl-child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl-child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have dared that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you, to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route, I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri Child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to cheer you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafebright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before, not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack, because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to come. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Vocotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday, Monday, met with newly appointed service chief in his office at the State House in Abuja. The meeting was the first known meeting between Mr. President and the service chief since their appointment last Friday. It was learned that the meeting served as an opportunity for the service chief to meet one-on-one with Mr. President and get the necessary brief from their commander-in-chief. It was also gathered that the swearing-in of the service chiefs and also decoration with new ranks will be after they have been confirmed by the Senate in line with the constitutional provisions. Already, Mr. President has forwarded the names of the service chief to the Senate for screening, and there are indications that the Red Chamber may confirm the appointees at plenary this week, which will most certainly kickstart them doing their job. With the surge of banditry in the northeast, insurgency in the northwest, farmer herders clash in the north central, IPOP activity in the southeast, more activities of kidnapping in the southwest, and the issues of piracy and oil theft in the south-south, it looks as if the job of the new service chief is already cut out for them, and a need for us to talk about it on this edition of Dialogue Today. And that is the coming of the new service chief, Nigerians looking at what they need to do. That's what we're looking at today on Dialogue Today. And we're talking about the coming of the new service chief, and already Nigerians seem to be setting the agenda for them, for us to see what they need to do to indeed make Nigerians seem more secure. But anyway, on a secure note, it is right I really introduce our guest. He's a criminal expert and also someone that deals highly on security. And I'm talking of no other person but Mr. Sam Daffy. Good morning and also welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I want us to just go straight to it. Lieutenant General Oluyede is now the Chief of Defense Staff to replace General Christopher Musa. Major General W. Shaibu appointed Chief of Naval Staff. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Eneke now becomes Chief of Air Staff, and Rear Admiral Abbas takes over the Chief of Naval Staff. And what's your reaction to this change of service chief that many will say took them by surprise? Are you surprised that we're having new service chief, or do you feel different about, or you feel it's about time we really need to have a change of guard?
Now, thank you very much once more for having me. And I'm going to be very, very explicit. And as much as it may be a shock to people, I don't think it's supposed to be. It's expected.
Okay.
Because professionally, every other 2 years you expect there must be a change of guard at that strata, and it's not because that's the tradition in Nigeria.
Okay.
And so what normally is obtainable if they have done creatively well, and Mr. President has all the prerogative powers, to do whatever he wishes to do, and it feels like, okay, they are good, and what do I do? They have done well, and so we need to commend them so they can extend their tenures.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, if it feels like we need a change of architecture and all that, so they can bring in here, inject new fresh blood into the system. So I think that's what Mr. President took advantage of. That's all. Nothing much, and that expectations.
So it was no surprise to you having them changed.
It was no surprise to me having them changed.
Okay.
It was no. It would have actually been a surprise if he had let them be on. Yes, that's what I think. But I was thinking that, okay, if because what you do, we have a standard. We have, you just oppose it with what was obtainable before they came in, and you want to view it at that level and see how far we have gone, security-wise. Have we been able to curb insecurity in the country and all that? Then you now begin to mark each and every one at their various, area and see if they've done creatively well. Personally, for one, I think Ogala did very well as the Chief of Naval Staff. He did very well. He was able to curb oil theft to about 70% by about 7. So I think he did creatively well, because you want to give kudos to such a man. And I think Christopher too, Lieutenant General Christopher Musa didn't do that bad. I was thinking that what would have been really different, or rather what Mr. President would have done, was to really be more strategic. And I think of, okay, what do we do? How do we go about it? Not necessarily the service chiefs, but how to go about,
Yeah, we're coming to how to go about it, because that's more like setting the agenda for this new service chief. But like you said, it was no surprise for you. Many groups were also demanding for a change. And one group that was demanding for the change was Northern Youth.
Northern Youth, yeah.
Yes, they were really demanding for the change of the service chief. And funny enough, they had a lot to talk about yesterday, and they also are seeking for a review and reform of the National Security Advisor role, especially as it concerns the security architecture. Now, I want you to respond to that, because they said Mr. President should not just stop there with the change of service chief. He should also bring that down into the reform of the NSA. I want you to respond to that now new demand, because they made that call just yesterday when they had a briefing.
In making that call, they are not doing more than the obvious. That's what it ought to be, because who is the driver of the national security architecture? Is the ONSA, is the Office of the National Security Advisor. So you see that much is expected of the services who take orders from the NSA than the NSA himself. So I think we need to really change our entire security architecture. What is obtainable, for instance, the United States of America, for instance.
Yes.
We have what we call the Joint Chief of Staffs, and we have the National Security Council. All these are advisory bodies. All the Joint Chief of Staffs they play an advisory role. Joint Chief of Staff is a combination of all the service chiefs. Like we have the Naval, we have the Marine Corps, we have the Air Force, and all. So these are people who play advisory. So I was thinking, and the Joint Chief of Staff Council comprises of all the, not just the service chiefs per se. So it brings all the intelligentsia, like broader thing, intelligentsia within the military. So they have a broader spectrum to play from. Just unlike what we, the buck ends in the office of the chief service chiefs and all that. So we need to be, more open-minded. Let me put it like that. In tackling our security, level of our insecurity. why don't we think of how to create something bigger, a platform? For instance, the National Security Council, that comprises of the ONSA, though it could be driven by the Office of National Security Advisor, but just with broad spectrum, bring in even like minds in the intelligentsia, go to the academic, bring intelligentsias on board. Where civilians can come play roles, because they know some things about these things, and just like we're talking here, I see things differently from the way the military man would look at it, and I'll have one or two inputs to make, based on the fact that this is my area of specialty. Then when you now bring them on board and think of how to address them. So I think that the Nigerian government or those saddled with responsibility of governance should look beyond what we have now and create something like a miniature of what we have in America, for instance. Create a National Security Council that comprises of maybe a Joint Chief of Staff Council, and all that. Then probably look at maybe security consultants who you can bring them, people who have one or two inputs to make. The civilian corps, bring them into part two. So these are the ways that I think they can go about it and we're able to achieve something wonderful.
Okay. Well, anyway, well said. Now, Nigerians will be saying, when we always have a new guard, new change of service chief, there's always that improvement. Yeah, the security architecture will change. We have always successively, right from the coming of these, even the previous administration, when there's a change of service chief, we see relatively calm. We see some few successes being achieved. So there's no surprise that we might see this. But the problem Nigeria has always had is the issue of sustainability. Having these successes go for a long period of time. Now, my question is, in line with these beliefs that Nigerians have, are we going to see a different narrative with this new coming service chief? Because, we'll definitely see them gain some few successes, but are we going to see a sustained battle against this insurgency that will make us feel like, yes, we've now finally had hit the bullseye?
Now, yes, there's a possibility of doing that, but I think that why I'm trying to say that we should have a broader spectrum is so that nobody thinks that my cause is being, outwitted. We are not part of the system and all that. Because one thing that leads to the lower morale of personnel is when they discover that, okay, they have eaten into their cosmates' time. And for instance, the chief of army staff, like you were from course 38, and those, it now takes about 3-4 years. You discover that those within the ambit of the course 39, 40, and 41
will be gone.
Will not be gone, because the next time they want to appoint probably a next chief of army staff, you discover
will definitely not come from them.
So they will discover that, because they may have certainly at least at time. So before you see it, each time they appoint one who is younger, you have a serious outflow. There will be outflows of security generals at that cadre, so that because at that level you discover that.
Sorry to cut you short, because I was almost going there. Because with our own knowledge on dialogue, we do know that the CDS will now become a full general. And we're talking about a 4-star general. Which will be different from the remaining 3 service chiefs. And I know the new service chiefs will be promoted to lieutenant generals or equivalent in either the Navy or also in the Air Force. But that's not where my question lies, because you brought this up, and that's why I want us to go there. Now, with also our own intelligence finding, we do know about almost 500 generals might have been retired all the way from former President Muhammadu Buhari up till this very last.
That's the truth.
500 young generals. Now, my question is, we're having a rise of insecurity. And these are able hands that will help us in the fight. But my question is, help us, walk us through our loss and why it seems that we need to lose these 500. Just like what you are saying now. And will it not impact negatively on us dealing with this insecurity? If that's the follow-up question to that. So just help us understand all of this.
Okay, now this, I earlier said, okay, what we have in the US is a Joint Chief of Staff Council, right? And it has a broader spectrum. It's not basically just the service chiefs per se. It consists of all the, so it gives room for followership. It's not as if it is not expected, it's not done in Nigeria. Like what we do from the onset to the CDS, to the Chief of Army Staff, and down to various service chiefs, and down to garrison commanders and all that, and sector commanders, and then even to the theater, where so we already have this. So the command, there's a command chain in the military that follows, then
that flows down.
So now I would do a basic, very fundamental analysis. I do it, I think is common, which I think is just a common knowledge, you know. One, it will not be a minus. Everybody has been part of the system, from the onset down to the sector commander, and even down to those who are the theaters who carry out the operations. So you see, it's not a minus. They are already aware of what it is. So if the generals leave, it's just a step up. And now I will tell you why the generals have to leave. Now, why would they leave? I just said earlier, for instance, the one that will be appointed now as the chief of army staff will be a 44th corps member. And probably the generals who are there are 39, 40, 41, 42. You don't expect to serve. The military is a professional body. You don't expect to serve under your junior. So the moment your junior is appointed as a chief of army staff,
you have to go.
You have to go. That's just the way it is. It's strictly a professional body, and it is treated in that manner. You know, it's not like
only Nigerian military cut across all board.
I think so. I sincerely think so, because like what they do in the US, for instance, you know, it's a 4-year term. It's a 4-year term for this Joint Chief of Staff Council. You know, so you come and stay. So you see, once that one leave, they come in. So you discover that, you know, it's not just 4-5 persons that, you know, are in the Joint Chief of Staff. You know, so we believe that it's a system that takes more than it can go beyond that kind of level. It's broad spectrum. So everybody has a role to play. So, and I think that it's not going to be a loss for us. It's certainly going to be a win. Then, as it pertains to if they're going to be gains, there are going to be serious gains.
So we should not lose sleep on that.
No, we shouldn't lose sleep on that. We shouldn't lose sleep on that. I see the chief of army staff. He's a very serious professional. He's been in the theater for a very long time. Yes, he's been a professional army and a soldier, and I have so much confidence in him.
Okay, now I still want us to remain with the issue of the change of guard. With information reaching us, the outgoing service chief will greatly gain a lot. You are still talking about gains, but let's leave what our gains will be, but look at their gains. Now, their take-home package, many will say is outrageous at the moment. And even we've had many people coming out to cry out that, wow, why are you giving these outgoing service chiefs so much? As in take-home pay, severance packages, and all of that. Now, many are already insinuating that would it not be a follow-up of a recent news of a takeover by a section of the military? So there's this speculation that seems to be building and brewing around the issue of the recent severance package for the outgoing general. So I want you to just respond to this allegation. And is there any bite of truth in it, or do you feel it's just mere speculation?
I want to sincerely tell you something. You know, there's this debt of trust in our governance system. You know, so when people talk, those who are saddled responsibility of governance talk, Nigerians don't tend to believe. In this part of the world, or rather, let me say in Africa, actually it's a global phenomenon. You know, people don't trust the government that much, but it's worse off when it comes to Africa and in Nigeria in particular. So when the people who are, you know, the security agents have told us there was no such thing. Why are we doubting them? Is because we don't trust them. That over time they have said things that are not real. They will always come back and say, oh, we're sorry, it's actually this, you know, it was this and this, and they begin to give excuses. So there has not been any time wherein we have so much trust and belief in those in the government. You understand? So I think that that's the major problem we have. I want to believe what the then CDS said, that there was no coup attempt. What they had was some level of indiscipline, you know,
among high rank.
Then another thing I want to tell Nigerians is this. For you to be able to carry out a coup, you look at the possibility of what is this? Is the person in a strategic place? What is the
dynamics?
The dynamics and the quantity of those under his commands. Is he in a position where he can have access to, you know, basic and fundamental things that can cause a change in government? So these are things we must learn. I think it is not. So I want to believe that. I want to toe their line. As much as I don't want to, but I wish to, you know, so that it becomes, you know, not a surprise to me.
But are we making so much noise out of it? Do you feel Nigerians are making so much
Yes,
noise?
I think it's diversionary. I think there are issues we should be looking at now, you know, economic issues, political issues and all that. We should be looking at them. You know, there are things to talk about. INEC chairman has just been appointed. We should make demands. This is what Nigeria should be giving their energy to, not this. To me, it's just diversionary. So to me, it doesn't work that way.
Well, okay, now let's still remain with the issue of insecurity, because according to our findings and according to reports from BSIL International, which is also a tracking body that deals with insecurity, we've had about 545 incidents were recorded in August alone this year, and which led to about 732 fatalities, which is one of the highest in the second quarter of 2025 as it concerns insecurity and deaths of Nigerians. Sad one it is. And it puts August as one of the most bloodiest months in the second half of this year, which everybody will say, well, it's enough reason for the change of the service chief in the first place, though. But let's leave this change of the service chief and now set the agenda for this new service chief. Yeah, Mr. President had a lot to say about yesterday when he met them formally one-on-one, and he charged them to ensure that the Nigerians should sleep with their two eyes closed. And he told them to immediately, undermine they've not gotten confirmation from the red chambers, but start to indeed implement what should be to ensure that Nigerians are more secure. Now, for you, I'm happy you're an expert. That's why we brought you here. You've seen what seems to be on the plate. You've seen some of the successes we've had, especially against eliminating or neutralizing, I rather call it neutralizing, major bandit leaders, and also the issue of piracy and how they've really given that a heavy blow as it concerns even what seems to be happening in the South-South. But for you, what do you feel this service chief should do and do differently?
Okay.
From the previous ones. Let's understand, because it's not all about talking, but actually finding solutions that will better strengthen and help this nation. Okay. What do you feel they do?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very important and strategic question. I want to tell you this thing, and tell Nigerians this as well. Sincerely, what we need to do is not within the ambits of the security chiefs, or the service chiefs rather. I think Mr. President should come out with a policy, maybe would, send a bill to the National Assembly for the creation of a National Security Council that can integrate both the military, the police, the DSS, then the traditional rulers. Because we're trying to have a broader spectrum of intelligence gathering. What do we call intelligence? It's actionable information. And any information are within the confines and disposals of these persons who reside in communities. These people are not spirit. They are not spirit. The bandits and the terrorists are not spirits. They live amongst people. So what we need, religious leaders, traditional rulers, bring them on board into a broader spectrum of what we call the National Security Council. Then we have, create something we call the Joint Chief of Staff, where we have all the garrison commanders, we have brigade commanders at that level, battalion commanders. We bring them into the, at that Joint Chief of Staff meeting where they come, harmonize ideas, and they advise the National Security Council, who intends pass and resolute on some things and pass them over to Mr. President. I tell you, Nigeria will be better for it. Sincerely, if we are able to come up with that kind of platform, you will discover that because they don't live in the moon. The bandits don't live in the moon. They transverse the length and breadth of our communities. They live amongst us. They work beyond. They were part of our communities before they went into this life. So what we now have to do is discover that information about them, actionable information about them, will be readily available to the end user. Who is the consumer? Who is the consumer? Probably the NSA and all that. So we need to do this. Look beyond,
But would there not be constitutional issues surrounding the creation?
As I said, the president should come out with an executive bill and send to the National Assembly. As I said, I started by saying the president should come out with an executive bill and send to the National Assembly. And don't forget also, there are those who are operational, we call them the foot soldiers, who are at the theaters, operating at the level. We need to take care of them. Their welfare is so terrible, very wonderful welfare. And we need to give them welfare, but to be encouraged. And if they need be, insure their lives. So that if they are no more, their families knows that, okay, our breadwinners were able to live even while they are gone, So people will now begin to think of, okay, we need to be more patriotic, we need to do this, and so that even if I die, you're proud of it, So your family is taken care of. So I think we need to not just begin to change the guards, services and all that. It's way beyond that. Way beyond that. And I don't forget that, I know Mr. President said this, that they want to be more digital. in that competition. Wonderful, that's wonderful. You know, but we need to go beyond policy statements.
Okay.
We need to go beyond policy statements in this country.
Okay.
You know, we need to be more decisive. You understand? More strategic. You know, the National Security Council, or probably which is driven by the ONSA, should come out with a strategic blueprint. You know, battles are won and lost at the strategic and tactical warfare. Now, the tactical part of it will be left for the service chiefs to handle. But strategically, the National Security Council should come up with a more broader, better thing to do. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. And Nigeria will be at peace in no distance time.
So you see that happening?
If we are serious, and I will take away the political elements, and because like I always say, the political will is one thing. You know, we can say all this and come up with beautiful policies, statements and all that, but if the political will to enforce them, there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay, now, talking about what we need to do about it, yes, when there was a new change of service chief, a name prop up that many Nigerians are also asking that Mr. President should also think towards, and is the Inspector General of Police. Yes, and many are saying, well, if you can change the service chief, why not go ahead and effect a change also in the Inspector General of Police? Do you feel Nigerians should be a bit bothered about that? Or do you feel, irrespective of who is there, it really doesn't have any major bearing as it concerns insecurity in the country?
It does. You can't rule that out. Not just the Inspector General of Police. I sincerely believe that the NSA should be changed. Because we are in war. When you're in war, you go with your best. I'm not trying to undermine the person of Nurubadu, but I'm saying that we need a better deal. You know, we have a lot of retired intelligence corps from the DMI, retired DMI directors and all that we need to drive, so we need to be, I'm serious, Nigeria, we need to be very serious. We are in a war. When you're in a war, you don't take things for granted. You bring your best, friends. So not just the police IGP, the NSA, sincerely has to go, because he's been the one driving this thing before this the new changes. So what you want to do, you want to inject new blood, you come up with fresh ideas,
But will we not be losing? Yeah, I know you initially said yes, irrespective of whether these persons go, we still have other persons that are willing and ready to fill the gap. But would experience not also be lacking if we constantly have a change of these persons?
I just said earlier that if you want to look at an NSA, for instance, you can pick from within the ambit of retired DMI directors, which is Defense Military Intelligence Directors, and these are people you can bring up because they have knowledge. They know what is, what has been happening, and we have them, retinue of them within from 920, who may have retired from 1999. I was started at New Democracy till now, and so we can take advantage of that and use that
as a pool of persons who can speak for the national security.
You can assess them. So we have to be very serious, and you don't expect. I'm sorry, but it's not something. You don't expect a police chief from. I'm trying not to,
to undermine his person.
He has capabilities, has all that, has wonderful aids and all that to work. But you don't just keep the best 11 and you want to use reserve. You go with your best team. So Mr. President has done incredibly well by changing the guards. He should do more. The IGP has stayed, and I think he may have overstayed his. So he can do better, inject fresh blood. I'm going by his words. He's trying to inject fresh blood. Bring in a new IGP, bring in a new DG of DSS, and bring in a new NSA. I'm sure that at that level, we know is very, very serious.
Well, anyway, it's a serious talk and one we've been having for a while now, and we're talking about the issue of the change of guard, especially as it concerns the service chief. You do know on Friday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to remove the former chief of the CDS. I'm talking about retired Major General Christopher Musa now, as he will be called, and put in a new, or rather had a rejig of the full security architecture to try to see how we can really muzzle out ourselves from the growing insecurity that seems to have bedeviled us for a pretty long time now. But the question is, what would or what should be the direction that this new service chief should follow? Should it be more focused on, just like he said, more of information gathering and making it more broad to even bring other persons on board that will help change the narrative, or should it be different in every approach? That is what the question is. We will soon allow you go, but one quick question I would like to bring to you is, we've had this discussion many times, and I still want to bring it to your fold. Should we continue with this kinetic measure, or should non-kinetic measures also be introduced to put an end to this growing insecurity? Yes, we've been battling it ever since, for how many years now? And many are saying, okay, would this bring an end? Has whatever brought end to any conflict? Has it ever, is it not dialogue that have resolved some of the major issues? So let's understand, should we still continue with the kinetic or non-kinetic approach should also be seen to us?
Now, my great, you see, is in the words of the retired immediate past CDS, he said you don't negotiate with these elements. That he knows them. He's been in the theater. He's been a theater commander for various times and all that, you know. So he's been there. You don't, because whatever they tell you is not reliable. Whatever they tell you, they won't carry it out. They will only, because their actions and acts are not based on ideology. Theirs is to come and instill fear and terror so that they, for economic gains. So it's not basically an ideology. So what are you going to negotiate with him for? What are you going to tell him? Because they have been so indoctrinated into this thing and radicalized such a way that, you know, they will always be rebellious. So I think the non-kinetic thing is just wasting our time.
But we've de-radicalized most of them, brought them back into the fold of the Nigerian army.
Have you asked yourself why there's so much high level of sabotage? Have you asked yourself that? So it's like moving from one form to the other. So I basically believe that it's just a waste of time to go and negotiate with terrorists. You see, when you pound them, when you make them weaker, at that level you have an advantage.
Every advantage to talk.
You now begin to talk. You don't talk from a point of weakness. You talk from a point of strength. Look at what, okay, let's go take what is happening between Hamas and Israel.
Yes.
You will agree with me that if Israel has not if they have not bombarded and pounded them like they did now, it would have been difficult for you to discuss with Hamas. There was a ceasefire that happened recently, and there was a little infringement. And what did Israel did? Release over 50 tons of bombs on the land of, you know. So you see, you need to be decisive, show some level of strength. The day you negotiate from the place of weakness is the beginning of a failure. We must come with a full bridge. Full bridge, come with serious military might to make them, to underwhelm them and make them understand that we are in charge here. We're not negotiating at your terms. And it's so demeaning when I see bandits come with some level of arms. They bear arms in their hand. They come to meetings with where we have military personnel and they carry arms, carry all SMG, they carry GPMG, and all, they carry serious all various arms. And you see them even with RPG, you know, and you begin to wonder what is happening. And where we have our peace, where we have our security personnel bearing arms, they still come with their arms. You don't negotiate from a place of weakness. That's one thing the new service chief must look into. If we must indulge in or maybe integrate the non-kinetic measure, we must do it from a place of strength.
And not that of weakness.
And not that of weakness.
Well, anyway, it will not be a weak thing for us to say we really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.
It has been very insightful, direct, and dealing with the issues. That's what we always love to always do on Dialogue, and bringing strong, well-knowledgeable resource persons like yourself is what we pride ourselves on the show always. And we really need to thank you so much. I'm talking of no other person, but I rather call him Mr. I will call himself Pastor. Anyway, we're Reverend or whatever. I'll rather call him Mr. Sam Edafi. Yes, I really would appreciate you for coming through, Omojefe Edafi, for bringing your insight and your professional look into all of the issues. We truly appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a part of it. And for us, it's more like a wrap on the show today. And well, indeed, we'll always implore you that if you have any reaction as it concerns our topic for today, we're talking about the change of guard and the coming of the new service chief. What approach should they take? What direction should they take? What part of strength should they adopt for them to indeed give us what we truly need and what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has mandated them to do? And all of that, please send those comments on our different social media platforms. Remember, we always have them as they come. We always appreciate. It's even right. I tell you, we appreciate all the comments we've been getting. It has really been very encouraging, and indeed want to show us that many of you are indeed following us and you're loving what we're doing. We really appreciate all your comments and contributions, and we only implore you to continue, drop those comments, share, like, and also be a part of the interaction. The interaction or the discussion doesn't end here. Let's continue on that on our different social media platforms, and we really appreciate all of that. But for me, Michael Gobadia, it's a quick bye-bye, but remember the news will come soon, and trending is even making something very interesting that will make your cool, wet morning more enjoyable. Bye for now.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow, I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafebright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack, because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines, not be to call. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV. Every year, Millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejiri. Here are our top stories. Federal government moves to mandate officials to fly Nigerian airlines abroad. JAM clears 85 underage geniuses for exceptional admission. Lamido joins race for PDP national chairmanship. CBN pumps $1.25 billion to boost fuel import amid local supply. Trump dismisses talk of 2028 VP bid, says it wouldn't be right. Rooney questions Van Dijk, Salah's leadership as Liverpool's slump deepens. Now to the news in full. The federal government is set to introduce a new law that will compel all public officials to fly Nigerian-owned airlines on international routes. Keyamo, alongside Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu and Air Peace Chairman Allen Onyema, witnessed the historic event. He said the proposed legislation, tagged Fly Nigerian Act, aims to strengthen the nation's aviation sector and support local carriers compete National Assembly for passage, ensuring that government officials lead by example in promoting homegrown airlines. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo disclosed this at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, during the ceremonial send-off of Air Peace's inaugural direct flight to London Heathrow. If approved, the Fly Nigerian Act could mark a new chapter in Nigeria's aviation policy, boosting local capacity while saving foreign exchange. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, has declared an indefinite nationwide strike effective from 11:59 p.m. on Friday, October 31st, 2025. In a statement signed by NAD President Dr. Mohammed Usman Suleiman, the association said the decision came after a 5-hour emergency National Executive Council meeting. Members reportedly voted unanimously to embark on a total and comprehensive industrial action until government meets their demands. The strike is expected to cripple medical services across public hospitals nationwide, with NAD warning that years of neglect, broken promises, and poor welfare have pushed doctors to the edge. The group urged the federal government to act swiftly to avert a full-blown health crisis. The decision follows the expiration of a 30-day ultimatum to the federal government over unresolved demands, including unpaid allowances, poor working conditions, and inadequate hospital facilities. As the countdown begins to Friday's deadline, millions of patients may soon be caught in the middle of another nationwide shutdown of public health services. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has cleared 85 underage candidates for admission into tertiary institutions across Nigeria after what it described as a rigorous and exceptional screening process. In a statement issued by JAMB's head of media, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, the board said the 85 successful applicants had been duly notified to proceed to their respective schools and print their admission letters. It added that the exercise followed a meticulous multi-stage evaluation that screened 599 top scorers who reached the 80% threshold in the 2025 UTME, narrowing the list to 182 finalists before approving the final 85. JAMB reiterated that the policy aligns with global best practices, treating underage admissions as rare academic exceptions. The board also urged disqualified high scorers who failed to upload their O-level results to do so before October 29th through its support portal. JAMB reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, inclusiveness, and academic integrity across all levels of tertiary education. The examination body said the candidates all below 16 years as of September 2025 emerged from over 41,000 who initially applied under the special category of exceptional admission. This development comes barely 2 weeks after JAMB restated that only candidates aged 16 and above by August 2025 would qualify for regular university admission, making this clearance a remarkable exception for Nigeria's brightest young minds. Former Jigawa State Governor Alhaji Sule Lamido has officially declared his intention to contest for the position of National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party. In his post, Lamido wrote, "By the grace of God, I shall today, Monday 27th October 2025, by 11 a.m. be at Wadata Plaza, the national headquarters of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, to purchase a nomination form to run for the office of National Chairman." Party insiders say Lamido's entry into the race could reshape internal dynamics ahead of the PDP's next convention as consultations continue among stakeholders. Lamido made the announcement on his verified Facebook page on Monday, confirming that he would visit the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja to pick up his nomination form. The former governor, a founding member of the PDP, is expected to outline his vision for party reform and unity in the days ahead. The All Progressives Grand Alliance has defended Governor Chukwuma Soludo's promise of 1 million naira to every ward won by the party in the upcoming Anambra governorship election, describing it as an incentive to curb voter apathy, not an act of vote buying. Governor Soludo, who is also APGA's flag bearer in the November 8th election, unveiled the reward plan during a vibrant campaign stop attended by party leaders, youth groups, and community supporters. The governor said the monetary pledge was designed to motivate active participation and reward hard work among party loyalists across all 326 wards in the state. Opposition parties, however, have criticized the move, describing it as a subtle form of inducement ahead of the polls. But APGA insists the policy aligns with its people-driven campaign model and is meant to rekindle interest in the democratic process. As the countdown to the November 8th governorship election continues, political parties in Anambra State are ramping up voter engagement efforts to counter rising concerns over low turnout. APGA made the clarification on Sunday following widespread reactions to Soludo's announcement at a campaign rally in Umunze, Orumba South local government area. The party said the initiative is a strategic move to inspire grassroots mobilization. More news on the business front.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now on the business front, the Central Bank of Nigeria has injected $1.25 billion into the oil sector midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority, Petroleum marketers supplied nearly 69% of the 21 billion liters of petrol consumed between August 2024 and early October 2025. Industry observers say the CBN's intervention is aimed at stabilizing forex demand and ensuring steady fuel supply nationwide. However, questions remain about why importation persists even as local refining capacity expands. Analysts warn that until Nigeria fully embraces domestic refining, foreign exchange pressure from fuel imports will continue to weigh heavily on the economy. The move comes as oil marketers insist on continuing fuel importation despite the availability of petrol from the Dangote refinery. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has set a new record in Nigeria's revenue history, collecting a total of 47.39 trillion naira in taxes between October 2023 and September 2025. According to performance data obtained by news reporters, the figures reflect increased efficiency in tax administration, digital innovation, and compliance drive across key sectors. The FIRS says its focus remains on simplifying tax processes, expanding the tax net, and ensuring transparency in Nigeria's fiscal system. Experts have described the achievement as a boost to the federal government's revenue reform agenda and a positive signal for economic recovery. With 47.39 trillion naira already in the bag, the FIRS says it is not slowing down as the agency targets even higher revenue performance heading into 2026. Under the leadership of Chairman Zach Adedeji, the agency exceeded its revenue targets by 15%, marking a major milestone since President Bola Tinubu approved his appointment in September 2023. Away from the business front now to the foreign scene, the U.S. President Donald Trump has ruled out any plan to run for vice president in the 2028 elections, rejecting suggestions that such a move could help him bypass America's presidential term limits. Trump, now in his second term after returning to power in January, continues to draw speculation over his political future. Supporters have floated theories that he could run alongside current Vice President J.D. Vance in 2028 and retake the presidency if Vance stepped down. The notion gained traction after his former advisor Steve Bannon told The Economist there was a plan to keep Trump in the White House for a third term. But Trump's latest comments appear to shut down that speculation, even as Trump 2028 hats seen on his desk continues to stir conversations across Washington. For now, Trump says his focus remains on his current term and delivering what he calls unfinished business in his second and final stint at the White House. Speaking aboard Air Force One on Monday, Trump said while the Constitution technically allows it, he considers the idea too cute and not right. Tensions flared along the Israel-Lebanon border on Monday after Israel accused United Nations peacekeepers of deliberately shooting down one of its unarmed drones near Kfar Kila in southern Lebanon. In a statement, UNIFIL says its peacekeepers used defensive countermeasures to neutralize what it called an aggressive UAV that posed a threat to their safety. The UN force also accused Israeli troops of escalating the situation, claiming another drone later dropped a grenade near its position, followed by a tank round fired towards the patrol. The Israeli army admitted it dropped a grenade but denied endangering UN personnel. No injuries or damage were reported. The confrontation highlights mounting ceasefire violations in southern Lebanon, where Israeli troops remain stationed despite a UN mandate restricting deployments to Lebanese forces and UN peacekeepers. Analysts warn the incident could further strain the already fragile calm between Israel and Hezbollah-aligned territories in the region. Both sides have launched internal investigations, but with trust eroding on the blue line, the border zone may be heading towards another flashpoint moment. The Israeli Defense Forces said the drone was on a routine intelligence mission until UNIFIL forces opened fire, an act it's described as intentional and unprovoked. But the UN mission insists it acted in self-defense, saying the drone flew dangerously close to its patrol. And on sports news, former Manchester United star Wayne Rooney has raised fresh doubts about the leadership at Liverpool, pointing fingers at captain Virgil van Dijk and forward Mohamed Salah over what he describes as troubling body language during the team's recent poor run. Rooney said, and I quote, "No one saw this coming. It hits them quick. It hits them hard, and they're struggling to find a way out of it." The ex-England captain's comments come as Liverpool endure one of their toughest spells in years, falling behind in both the Premier League title race and their European campaign. Analysts say the club's dressing room atmosphere and visible frustration on the pitch points to deeper problems within the squad's leadership. With pressure mounting on Jurgen Klopp's men, Rooney's remarks add fuel to the growing debate over whether Liverpool's senior stars lead the team back to form before the season slips away. Speaking on the latest episode of the Wayne Rooney Show, the five-time Premier League winner told newsmen that the Reds' collapse in form has shocked everyone, suggesting that the club's senior players look lost and uninspired. Former Manchester United defender Gary Neville's Arsenal are now firm favourites to win this season's Premier League title. Arsenal's 1-0 win over Crystal Palace on Sunday pushed them 4 points clear on the top of the table, 7 ahead of Liverpool and 6 above Manchester City. Neville, who has backed the Gunners to win the league for 4 consecutive seasons, believes the campaign could finally be their moment. Arsenal will look to maintain their momentum as the title race enters its decisive phase, while City and Liverpool aim to close the gap. With confidence soaring in North London and rivals faltering, the Premier League title may finally be heading back to the Emirates after 2 decades. Speaking in an interview, and consistency. With our sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here at Atlantic TV. Do also follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and headline updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.
When the lights go out, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, 25. Or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love, it is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter, it's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, also one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, Ninja Celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's Trending O'Clock. And you know how we do it right here on Trending. We talk about all the trending stories on the internet and of course give our opinions about them. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know once it's trending, I can never be alone in the studio. So who is joining us today? The beautiful, gorgeous NK. I love the energy and everything you bring.
Queen, that's okay.
Energy queen.
It's so good to be here once again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And you're looking good, by the way. I love the hair. I love the makeup. I love everything.
Thank you so much. And you don't look bad though.
Thank you. My
All right, thank you for always coming to join me.
As
then
always.
Today we have lots of gist. Are you ready?
The weekend was hot.
It was hot.
So I'm not surprised.
All right, let's dive straight into it.
Yeah.
So tragedy struck Lagos on Monday, which was yesterday, the 27th of October, 2025, when a two-story building collapsed in the early hours of the day. Yeah, we can see the picture. According to reports, 15 people were rescued while several others are still feared trapped under the rubble. Emergency responders from Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service and Lagos State Emergency Management Agency are still working on the scene. Okay, this is a very sad and disturbing story, and I really do not like disturbing stories like this,
Yes.
but it is what it is. It's trending and we have to talk about it. And then I saw in dailies this morning that residents saw some of these distress signs, but they ignored it. Because I don't think a building can just collapse at once. You must have seen some signs and all of that. And I just get to wonder, how do people sleep in dilapidated buildings? Like, how do you sleep with your eyes closed, your eyes shut, not scared of what might happen the following day and all of that? I don't know. How do they sleep in dilapidated buildings?
Well, sometimes you may not really blame them, you know, because I mean this is where they have lived all their life. For some people,
Yeah.
this is where they have lived all their lives, and you know the cost of rentage right now in Nigeria is something else, and people cannot really afford the big houses and the rest. And so, old houses like this that I feel like, or I felt the government will actually, you know, look into some form of rehabilitation,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, see how they can reconstruct some areas, you know, but then they give a blind eye to it. There is a particular estate in Lagos I'm very scared of.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten the name now, but it's a very popular estate in Lagos, but the estate is old,
very
like
old, yeah.
very old, and sometimes I fear for those people living there because footages I've seen of some of the areas, they are broken. Some there are cracks here and there, you know, breakages, and I'm like, how do people live in this kind of area without fear of one day this place might just collapse? Because I mean, some of the reasons that causes all this kind of collapse is wear and tear. Sometimes the cement have become so soaked with water, and you know, it's no longer as strong as it used to be, and there is a tendency that it might just fall down. But then this is a very gory sight, and I can't even imagine the people trapped in that collapse right there. So I just hope the government, as I would say, an example to look into other houses, you know, of this kind of structure, to see how they can help those houses come alive.
And the funniest part is the fact that in Lagos, houses are expensive. You collect, you get outrageous rents and all of that, and you cannot put them back into renovation of your properties. Exactly. This is alarming, and I feel maybe there should be a law that once your house goes bad like this, they should arrest the person or something, and because why would you open your eyes and watch your house in that condition without fear of collapse and all of that? Still collecting outrageous funds and leaving people in there. I feel governments really need to intervene, because we've been having more of all of these house collapses and all of that, which is not really nice.
I feel like the Federal Housing Agency, you know, needs to really do a lot of work. I mean, you see houses like this, landlords and landladies are collecting rents, increased rentage, and no work is being done. I mean, no form of, you know, reconstruction or what's it called now, renovation is done in the house. And you're asking yourself, what's the outrageous rentage for? What's the increment for? You know, you just wake up one morning and the landlord has increased the rent.
Those kind of selfish and self-centered landlords are the kind of persons that their house end up being collapsed and all of that, because they do not want to spend. You're getting money from this. It's an investment. You should be able to invest more in your property. Renovation should be something that needs to be done
monthly or
like
quarterly,
not you just leave your house like that and then just leave people. You don't really care. It's not really nice. And our hearts, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families during this difficult time. Well, as we know, this is still a developing story, and some persons are still trapped in there. So I'll sure bring more updates.
And this has also caused, you know, people homeless.
Yes,
right now.
homeless.
So I think the government is doing a lot to house people. So let's see how that works out.
Yeah, so as more details emerge, I'll definitely come and update you. So next is still a disturbing story. Yeah, a 23-year-old student of the University of Jos has been arrested for allegedly taking. The shocking incident was discovered after neighbors noticed a strange smell coming from the suspect's apartment. Police were alerted and investigations led to the grim discovery. So at the moment, it's still under custody as authorities continue to investigate. And I get to ask, what exactly is happening to our youth? Like a 23-year-old boy, you killed, buried in that apartment where you have a corpse. I just don't know. How do people feel? Well,
was it not scared that the spirits will wake up and come and
like, I don't know, like where do they get their minds? Where do they get their guts? Where do they get all of these things? In as much as I have a lot to say, I am boiling, but netizens had more than a lot to say. Let's see some of the reactions. See how he looks like a human being.
I was just about to talk about his looks right now, because he looked really scary.
Wait, he buried his colleague in his room. How did he do that? I don't know, if you ask me. Let's take some more reactions. Una you style gets mine. Exactly what I was saying. Where do you all get your guts? What the hell? Things we read these days in the news don't even happen in the movies. Exactly. Weird times we live in. Such a wicked word. This one no be devil walk, now fully human being walk. And he should be interrogated, and how fragile life is and how dangerous unchecked anger or cruelty can be.